So hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 62 of our Aston Martin Save. Now, if you didn't watch the last episode, you need to go back and watch it because Fernando Alonso had the absolute recovery drive of a lifetime to come from the back of the grid to P2, and if we'd have got past Carlos Sainz a little bit quicker, we may have got the win as well. Just having a quick look back at that Grand Prix at Zandvoort. Charles Leclerc finished first, Fernando Alonso second, Pierre Gasly, after another mistake, finished in P8. We did get a safety car at the right time, but we're not going to focus too much on that. What we are going to focus on is bring you up to date holistically with everything that is going on at Aston Martin. So we're heading to Monza this weekend. We've got 7 Grand Prix left. And we are very much in the fight for the Constructors' title. We're currently 27 points behind Ferrari, who lead the Constructors at this moment in time. Red Bull in second. It's a three-way fight for the Constructors' title. Driver standings-wise, Pierre's last couple of Grand Prix have not gone to plan. He could do with a good result here in Monza to boost his driver's title campaign. Fernando Alonso's possibly just a little bit too far back, so Pierre really is our main focus in the drivers' standings. Up to date on the car developments as well. We've now got 3 upgrades coming in within the next month, which are going to probably be our final upgrades to get us this final push towards the Constructors' title. Underfloor front wing and side pods are all being rushed to get in time and as quick as possible for the upcoming races. So that is everything. We know we've got Monza this weekend. I personally love this track. 53 laps round here. Turn 1 can be absolute carnage. Top speed and high speed cornering, very prominent round here. The expected strategy is a one-stop from medium onto soft, depending on which way around you want to do it. So I'm going to get through all the practice sessions and we will see you in qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix.
Welcome to Life in the Fast Lane. We're here at Monza in Italy, the home of Ferrari. But who will take home the points this weekend? Let's find out as we get started with the Italian Grand Prix. Monza, a centurion among circuits, dripping with motorsport history. Expect to see cars fly by as 80% of the track is tackled at full throttle. It's not all go, however, and brakes can be prone to overheating through the tight chicanes that Monza has to offer. This is it. We're down to the last few races of the season, and it's time for that final push. Who will be crowned champion at the end of it all? We'll find out soon enough. Let's get this underway.
There we are then, guys. Final laps in Q3 now. Pierre Gasly is topped Q1 and Q2, but hasn't managed to find the pace in Q3. Fernando Alonso goes P7. Pierre Gasly P8. That's a very disappointing final qualifying session from Pierre Gasly, and it must be noted Leclerc and Verstappen, we believe, have got engine penalties for this weekend. So if we just fast forward that round, we'll get to see that it is Carlos Sainz who's on pole, but Leclerc and Verstappen will both be taking penalties. Look at the difference though between Q1, Q2 and Q3. Pierre Gasly 4/10 slower in Q3 than he was in Q2. If he'd have done his Q2 time, he would have been on pole position. Very, very strange, Pierre just not getting the lap together at the end. But let's have a little look at the strategies now and see what we can do with these grid penalties. Right then, guys, so we are going to split the strategy a little bit. Now, looking at Fernando, he hasn't got a fresh set of soft tyres. So we're going to start him on the medium, and then apparently going onto the hard is the quicker strategy by 11 seconds. Looking at Pierre, we are going to make the decision whether to go onto hards or mediums in the race. We may go on to mediums because because the hards is showing a quicker strategy. So we're going to just manage it with Pierre and see what he can do. We may switch him onto the hards, not the mediums. But P5 for Alonso, P8 for Pierre Gasly. Let's get to 5 red lights. This could be a pivotal weekend in both championships.
Here we are at the oldest circuit in Europe for this, the Italian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
And away we go, and as you can see, we are straight away switching Pierre Gasly onto overtake mode. It's Carlos Sainz who leads the way. Now, where are the people with the grid penalties? Gasly, he's got Verstappen and Charles Leclerc in front of him, who are both on soft compound tyres, but are on used soft compound tyres. Pierre will have the advantage early doors in this stint. So Pierre Gasly looking to make moves early on the 2 cars in front of him. Fernando Alonso already making up a place on George Russell, and he's got Valtteri Bottas in front of him. Valtteri Bottas, who had a very difficult race last time out in... where did we go last time out? In the last race, I can't think of it off the top of my head. Where we were at Zandvoort, weren't we? Of course we were. It's been a day since I've recorded that last one, so obviously my memories are doing very, very well. There has been a few beers this weekend, but we can't let the members of the pit crew know that. But Fernando Alonso has had a cracking start up against the 2 cars at the front. He's got 2 soft compound runners in front of him as well. It's going to be interesting to see if this tactic for Fernando Alonso works of going onto the hard compound tyre, because if it does, he's going to gain a huge advantage, Fernando Alonso. But it's going to be towards the end, and we know how good Fernando can be towards the end of Grand Prix, as we saw last time out. Right, Pierre Gasly, using the overtake, has not managed to get past Leclerc or Verstappen. The interesting thing is, with this little battle as well, their tyres are going to die off before ours, so we're going to see Leclerc and Verstappen both pit before we do, and then it's going to be interesting to see if we go onto the hards or the mediums. We will get a gauge of what Verstappen and Leclerc do. We've had somebody lock up, we're not getting a view of it. I'm assuming it's Sergio Perez who's gone tumbling down the order, and we've just seen a little brief clip of him there. Let's have a little look at this.
So let's look at this.
It's Sergio Perez leading into turn 1, just locks up that front right and ends up in the runoff area. That promotes Fernando Alonso into P3 with 1 soft tyre runner and 1 medium tyre runner in front of him. Alonso's just got to stick with these 2 guys, and I'm sure he can make it work. Pierre Gasly, much the same, sticking with Leclerc and Verstappen, and I think these fresher tyres will give us the advantage. So your top 10 after Perez's mistake is Sainz from Bottas, then comes Alonso, Russell, Verstappen, Leclerc, Gasly, Magnussen, Vettel, and Lewis Hamilton in the Audi. I just think that Audi livery looks fantastic. Let me know in the comments, who do you think is the best looking livery? Because I'm really a fan of this Audi livery at this moment in time. But then again, the retro McLaren, very much a gorgeous looking livery as well. Lap 2. We come back to you on lap 4 because Fernando Alonso is just set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. But Fernando Alonso is absolutely cooking on gas on these medium compounded tyre. He's got past both the Ferrari and the Mercedes of Bottas now, and Fernando Alonso leads the Italian Grand Prix. He's gone a little bit wide there though, with Bottas coming at him, but Bottas is going to get DRS down this next start finish straight. But look at how that soft compound tyre is wearing. The medium compound at the moment looks a very, very quick race tyre at this moment in time, and it's working absolute wonders for Fernando Alonso. If we have a little look behind him, it's Sainz and Russell who I'm more concerned about at this moment in time. Bottas gets back in front, which might not be the worst thing because we'll get DRS down the next DRS straight. Meanwhile, Pierre Gasly, he's in a bit of a different position on the soft compound tyre because he has got the fresh tyres, whereas Leclerc and Verstappen certainly haven't. He's got 9% better wear on his tyres. We are going to get an extra couple of laps out of these before deciding whether we go medium or hard to the end. If there's one soft runner that can go soft medium, it is going to be Pierre Gasly this weekend. But Fernando Alonso very much in the battle for the win this afternoon. Gasly, I reckon we can beat the 3 or 4 cars in front of him. It could be a double podium for Aston Martin this weekend. Lap 5. Lap 8, the guys at the front very much trading places. Bottas, Alonso and Sainz. And Sainz and Bottas have managed to get past Alonso. Alonso now sits in P3. I'm not too concerned at this moment in time. We're pretty much where we should be at this moment, and we are going on to the hards. It's going to be interesting to see whether these guys go on to soft. Judging by the tyre wear, I mean, we've done 8 laps and they're on sort of 60-70%. I'm not convinced with Pierre's strategy that medium to the end is the way to go. I think hard compound tyres towards the end will have a really good tyre offset against some of his competitors. Fernando, like I said now, we'll just have a little view of it from his point of view down this next start finish straight. He's on 84% tyres, as is George Russell. 5 tenths behind the 2 leaders now. Let's have a look. Once this DRS gets enabled here, and this rear wing is open, let's just have a little look at what's going on behind. He's got George Russell and Max Verstappen coming like an absolute train down this start-finish straight. Gasly's 7 tenths back, doesn't seem to have the pace of Verstappen and Leclerc, even early doors in this race.
You done a good job.
But maybe that is just about starting to change because Pierre Gasly's managed to gain a position on Charles Leclerc. And I'm sure we're going to get a replay. We are. And here is Pierre Gasly. Let's have a look at this move. It's a late lunge. It's an opportunistic move. Leclerc caught napping on the outside, and Pierre Gasly whips round beautifully, and now he's got Max Verstappen firmly in his sights. Remember, Verstappen and Leclerc will be stopping before the Gasman. Lap 9. And on lap 10, Max Verstappen gets past as well, and it's Pierre Gasly. We saw Fernando Alonso do magic in Zandvoort, and Pierre Gasly has literally drove straight through Max Verstappen. I don't know what's suddenly happening with this game. Maybe we're getting a few more ghost moments. This man is absolutely astounded with what he's just seen. He can't believe it, neither can I. Pierre Gasly now up into P5, and he's only a couple of positions behind his teammate. Gasly is in for the win this afternoon, lap 10. Lap 16 now, I'm going to bring you back because we're going to talk strategy, ladies and gentlemen, because it's getting towards the pit window. We're expecting some cars in the next couple of laps, especially soft compound runners. Now, take a look at the left-hand side, the tyre wear. The medium compound tyres, 69%. We've done 16 laps at this moment in time. Let's have a look at the pre-race report here and the compound performance. Now, the hard compound average lap time is a 125.9, a 125.8 for the medium compound of tyre. Now, the drop-off on these tyres, if these guys on the soft are wanting to do 30 laps on the mediums, you think of the wear the mediums is going to be at the end. They're currently on 69% with 16 laps gone. I reckon the hard compound tyre is the way to go, and that's what we're going to be shifting Pierre and Alonso onto in their second stints. We've made that decision now. Looking at the analytics, look at the tyre wear at the moment in time, I think that is a reasonable decision. We're going to get 1 or 2 more laps than Verstappen and Leclerc get on the soft compound tyre, which is going to be really, really prominent for us. So that's the plan. Both cars will be going to mediums after we've had a good strategy discussion there. We don't normally have a strategy discussion. We're having one today. Lap 17, it's Sainz, Bottas, and Alonso is in P3. Interestingly, it looks like there's been a crash. Alonso's up into P1. Yellow flag. There's been and we're not. Are we going to have a safety car? If we have a safety car, both our guys will be in. It's the guys at the front. It's Russell and Sainz who are battling. Let's have a look what happened here. Alonso lurking behind. He locks up. Goes into the back of the Ferrari. P1 and P2 are out of this race. Alonso is now race leader. And somebody's got a penalty. I think it's Carlos Sainz who's got a penalty for causing a collision. So it's Alonso from Russell, Gasly in P3. We've got 2 cars in the top 3. This could be a huge weekend in the championship. We don't want any mistakes from our 2 drivers. Lap 17. We bring you back lap 18. First one of the soft compound runners is in, and it is Valtteri Bottas. He did have a penalty to serve as well, but he's gone onto the medium compound tyre, and he has got 35 laps to do on the medium compound unless he's doing a 2-stop. So really, it's all pointing towards the hards. Gasly will be in the next couple of laps. Verstappen's 4 tenths behind. Alonso battling with George Russell. This might not be the end of the world because he's going to get DRS down the next DRS straight, which works beautifully for us. Alonso says he's not got the pace. Do not worry, my friend. We will have the pace towards the end of this. And Gasly is right up the back of Alonso. This could be a really interesting battle. We'll let this run. Pierre is in, like I said, in a couple of laps' time. We are going to let this run, and we're going to go on board with Pierre Gasly, who's got the best view in the house of these 2 battling in front. Now, round Parabolica, Alonso, he's got the inside line, and he's also going to get DRS down this straight, and so is Pierre Gasly. George Russell isn't going to do. This could be absolutely key here. Alonso's got that rear wing open, as has Pierre Gasly. Are both cars going to manage to make up a position here? Alonso's got P1. Gasly's down the inside of George Russell. He's got a decent exit as well. It's a drag race now, but the Mercedes with the better tyres at this moment in time manages to maintain P2. It's battling all the way here, and Pierre Gasly, we're now having a look what gap we can get Pierre out into. Lap 19. Lap 20, Verstappen and Leclerc both into the pit lane. Pierre Gasly stays out. He's maintaining the pace of the leaders, so we're not too fussed with that. What did he go on to then? Verstappen with that medium compound, I believe it were. Let's have a little look at this. Verstappen is out and he's on the medium compounded tyre. 33 laps to do on the medium compound. Pierre Gasly is getting dragged along at this moment in time, so we're going to leave it for the moment. There is an option to keep Pierre out and go on to the mediums later on. If he can keep pace with Russell and Alonso, that is something we could look at. Or we can stick with it with the hard compounded tyre. Verstappen comes out, he's 24 seconds off the leader. That wasn't a bad pit stop at all for Max Verstappen. So we're going to now be looking at the gap we can possibly get into. Gasly is on the back of Russell and Alonso. Lap 20. In the box, lap 21. Pierre Gasly is in for his pit stop. We have decided we are going to go for the hard compounded tyre. All the strategy signs, all the data analytics are pointing to go for the hard, and the medium compounded tyres at the end may be absolutely cooked. So Pierre Gasly, where is he going to come out? We're looking at Max Verstappen. He's coming down the start finish straight now. What we don't want to see is him going past Pierre Gasly. Verstappen, he's comfortably behind Pierre. Pierre, is he going to manage to... He might get him into turn one, you know. Gasly tries to block him off. Verstappen gets the undercut, and Verstappen has undercut Pierre Gasly. But this will come back to us later on in the race, I am sure. Alonso now is the man we're going to be looking at in the next few laps for his pit stop. Lap 21. Fernando coming in for his pit stop. Russell has stayed out on the medium. Obviously, George Russell is going on to the softs at the end. Alonso is in. We're banking that these are compound tyres are a good race tyre. And if you have a look at the left-hand side, just quickly, Pierre Gasly is sticking with Max Verstappen all the way on these tyres at this moment in time. And it's working an absolute treat for us. The interesting thing is going to be is where Fernando Alonso is going to come out here. Latifi's in, Stroll's in. Where is Verstappen and Gasly? Gasly is doing everything he possibly can to overtake Max Verstappen. Alonso, is he going to come out in front of his teammate? He is. Alonso stays in front of Gasly. It's a 1-2 for Aston Martin. Well, it's not a 1-2. It's hopefully going to be a 1-2. It's 7th and 8. Alonso P7 now. Gasly P8. This is beautiful work from us. Gasly also during that. We'll have a little look at this. Managed to overtake Max Verstappen down at the start finish straight as well, just as Fernando was coming out of the pit lane. Alonso very close from our two drivers there, but did really, really well to come out in front of Pierre. Now the interesting thing is going to be, where does George Russell come out, and what was the last lap? So 1:24.8 for Gasly last lap. We are lapping 3 tenths quicker than George Russell at this moment in time. So when George Russell pits, he is going to be behind both of the Aston Martins, albeit on a very quick soft compounded tyre. Lap 23 looking very, very promising for Aston Martin. Pierre Gasly has not had the best of laps. He's just lost a position to Verstappen, and now he's lost a position to Leclerc. The medium compound tyres in this window, these are going to be the stronger race tyre. We know that. That's not where we're too concerned. In fact, we'll let Verstappen drag us along. That's absolutely fine for Alonso and Gasly. The medium tyres already 88% compared to 95. There's a lot more wear on these mediums, and towards the end, Gasly and Alonso will be on the better tyre, and that is when we will pounce. But Alonso is causing enough issues for Verstappen early doors, even with the tyre offset, and Alonso is 3 wide into turn 1. But Fernando Alonso just about has got his nose in front of Verstappen. He's still 3 wide. The Ferrari can't quite get down the inside, but Fernando Alonso and Verstappen really going at it here. And Pierre Gasly is just watching this unfold in front of his very eyes. Alonso, he's going to get the inside line. He's going to turn to the outside. Verstappen holds on. Alonso battling well with Max Verstappen and Leclerc at this moment in time. Gasly just sitting, and then we will go from there. I think this is going to come to us. Meanwhile, George Russell at the front. If we have a look at the last lap time, it was a 1:25.3 for George Russell, a 1:24.5 for Fernando Alonso, gaining around, 7-8 tenths on that last lap alone. It's looking positive. Lap 26. Fernando Alonso is phenomenal. He's just got past Charles Leclerc. Then you're just about to watch him get past Alexander Albon in this highlight here. We caught up to some traffic, and Alonso is just showing all his class. He got past him, and then you can see that they were an Alpine. Just hold your horses, boys, because as much as we're enjoying those celebrations, have a little look at this. He's also got past Esteban Ocon as well, and I'm hoping we're going to get a replay of this. Fernando Alonso has just gained 3 positions in one sector. Absolutely outstanding. Here's the replay. Let's have a little look at this. He's using the DRS beautifully well, and Fernando Alonso chases Max Verstappen through. Now Pierre Gasly has got to do a similar job here. He's used a bit of DRS to get through that there, Fernando Alonso. It's now time for Pierre Gasly to see if he can do something similar. He's going to be told to use the overtake button and try and get past these cars as quickly as he possibly can, and he doesn't look like he's going for the move. He really doesn't. Alonso has put 2 or 3 cars between himself and his teammate, and he doesn't manage to get past it. We'll come back if Pierre manages to get any moves done here. Lap 30. Fernando Alonso is having one hell of a race here. He's got past Max Verstappen. Now remember, we're on the worst tyres at this moment in time, but Alonso managing to get the move done. It's wheel-to-wheel racing. It's respectful racing between the old gun and the young gun. Beautiful work from Fernando. Done very, very well there. I mean, we're starting to look a bit smug in the Aston Martin garages at this moment in time. Alonso and Verstappen are still battling. Verstappen's actually got the place back, but we may get the DRS down this straight. We're now looking at Pierre Gasly to see if he can possibly get a move done on Esteban Ocon, but that Renault, that Alpine is starting to prove a real difficult task to get past. But Pierre Gasly, like I say, it will come to him a little bit later on in the race. The tyre wear will start to be felt in the next sort of 5-10 laps by the medium compounder runners. And Pierre Gasly looks like he's starting to eye up a move on Esteban Ocon. Will he get it done here? We'll tell him to use a bit of overtake. See if he can get past him quickly. Is he going to get it done into this corner? He certainly is. And now he's going to use the DRS, try and get back in this little train with Leclerc.
Just keep doing what.
And then if we can latch onto this DRS, we'll be absolutely laughing. Let's just see if he can get back in it. He's using the DRS. I don't think he's managed to get in the DRS on this lap, which is going to cost Pierre. He's going to have to use some battery to get back in that, but I'm sure he'll get back in it very, very shortly. Lap 31, George Russell still waiting to pit. Ricciardo and Sainz both in for their pit stops. The first medium runners in. That Ferrari looks fantastic. George Russell still yet to pit. Alonso now 17 seconds behind George Russell. He's going to be mighty quick towards the end of this Grand Prix. But another little note as well, Pierre Gasly is on the cusp of getting back in DRS range. We're going to tell him to deploy and use a bit of DRS to try and get back in this DRS train. He needs to get back in it, Pierre Gasly, for his own race. It's absolutely key for him. Lap 32, he looks like he's done it. Pierre Gasly back in DRS. And the big moment is here. George Russell is in on lap 32. What a stint it has been for George Russell. I don't know what his tyre wears ended up at. It must be around the 38%. And George Russell is doing particularly well at this moment in time. Alonso now will become the effective race leader on lap 33. Let's see where George Russell comes out here. He's dropping down like a stone, and he's going to have quite a bit of traffic to get through as well. George Russell comes out P8 for George Russell. Lap 44. Now George Russell is flying, and he has been flying. He's closed the gap to 2.8 seconds to Pierre Gasly, but he's not made the inroads that I believe he would have wanted to do, because look at his tyres now. They are starting to drop off. Leclerc and Verstappen, 50% tyre wear apiece at the front. It's just a battle at the moment between the 4 cars you can see in front of you, 2 of which are Aston Martins. Alonso, I'm sure he's going to be making moves in the next couple of laps. And then it's going to be hammer time for Pierre Gasly, who's just been conserving a little bit of fuel just to make sure that we're all right towards the end of the Grand Prix. But Fernando Alonso will be eyeing up a race win here, and Pierre Gasly might not be too far behind him either, because he's got to get past Max Verstappen in relation to this title. So lap 45, it's going to come down to the wire between the 2 Aston Martin cars, a Ferrari and a Red Bull. Oh, and lap 47, George Russell running wide. That is him out of contention. So it's still between the top 4. You'll notice we're just charging a little bit of DRS for Fernando Alonso, pushing on the fuel. We're keeping in a very nice gap here with the top 2, and then it's going to be hammer time towards the end. We do love a grandstand finish here. safety car particularly doesn't help us, which is something which we're hoping we're not going to see at this moment in time, which we're not. It's going to be Lando Norris. We're going to get to have a little view of that. It's been an action-packed Grand Prix, this one. Let's have a look at what Lando Norris does here. Just spins it in front of his teammate, Danny Ricciardo. Thank you very much. So it's still Alonso and Gasly, both vying for the top 2 steps on the podium. So this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Coming on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. It's still Verstappen, Leclerc, Alonso and Gasly. But which order will these 4 cars finish up in? It's, who knows, Verstappen's managed to get the lead going on to this final lap. One of our 2 cars has got to get this win. Surely, looking at the tyre wear, 35% for those 2 medium compound runners. And our guys just cannot seem to get past him. It's been an absolute nightmare. Alonso's had a couple of opportunities, not quite managed it. We're using all the ERS we possibly can to try and get this win in Monza. But at this moment in time, we are particularly struggling to get past the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, who's been absolutely dominant. We're using all the ERS. We're going to go aggressive on the tyres. Can we do it down this next DRS straight? That's going to be the absolute key. Fernando Alonso is trying to get a move done before we get onto this DRS straight. And here goes Fernando Alonso. We're going to ride on board with the Spaniard. He's past him. Can he get past Max Verstappen, who covers him off? We can't quite get past Max Verstappen. It's let Charles Leclerc back in, and now Pierre Gasly is side by side. The 2 Aston Martin drivers are side by side going into the final corner. Is one of them going to manage to get past the Ferrari, and both of them going to manage to get past the Ferrari? We absolutely have no idea. Alonso chucks one down the inside, down Parabolica. He's going to look like he's going to get P2. Pierre Gasly has not managed to make it stick. It's going to be Max Verstappen who wins the Italian Grand Prix. Alonso in P2, Gasly P4, and Charles Leclerc in P3. I believe that Gasly will be very, very disappointed with that, but what a finish that was. Both Aston Martin drivers neck and neck into the final couple of corners, along with the 2 championship protagonists. Beautiful work. You can see George Russell in the background. I think we got the tyre strategy right. We just didn't get the result. But let's have a listen to Crofty and see what he made of it all.
What a flawless weekend here from Fernando Alonso. His team must be proud. What a beautiful sight that is on the podium, and a true crowning achievement for everyone involved. And the talented veteran rounds off another great drive, adding to his impressive F1 podium tally.
Fernando Alonso at this moment is showing why possibly he is the informed driver on the grid at this moment. Max Verstappen won, gaining 6 positions. Alonso second with that beautiful last move. I can't even speak with all the excitement. That move on the last corner. Leclerc third, Gasly fourth, Russell fifth, sixth for Bottas, 7th for Vettel. Sainz in P8. He'll be disappointed as he was very much in the hunt for a win this afternoon. Magnussen P9, Danny Ricciardo rounds off the points paying positions in P10. If we have a look at the driver's standings, Max Verstappen 25 points. Pierre Gasly will be disappointed he didn't gain more on him there this afternoon. Carlos Sainz drops to P3 in the driver's standings. Leclerc in P4. Fernando Alonso coming like a train at P5. Might have just hit form a little bit too late to get that driver's title win. Constructor standings though, we do re-overtake Red Bull. We're now on 400 points. Leclerc and Sainz in the Ferrari at 418. We're 18 points behind Ferrari going into the last few races of the season. My word, we do like a grandstand finish. I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode and this one in particular. Please like and subscribe, and we shall see you on the next one. I'm going to have to get this podium music on repeat.